Okay, so you put in your data here, the date that you're doing it, okay, and the status is yes or no. Yes, they're making progress, or no, they're not. Okay. If they're not, don't mark yes because you don't want to redo the goal. Mark no, and then try some other strategies and change some things up to see if you can still make progress toward that goal. If not, if they're just not able to work, make progress on that goal at a reasonable rate, you might have to have an amendment and change that goal, and that's okay. Okay? So, put it in there, you get your status, you put your status date, you hit save, and then it drops down. Okay? And then all the new stuff will on top. Yes, ma'am?
If you have benchmarks for a certain goal,
yep,
and the student has made progress, but hasn't met that benchmark,
okay,
can you still put yes in the status?
Yes.
Okay. Making some progress.
Just saying yes does not mean that they are going to master that goal. Okay. It means they're making progress towards that goal in the hopes that they'll master, and it's likely that they might, but they might not. But they're still making progress. Okay. So then you go there, and then you can click this next goal button over here, and it will take you through all the different goals they have. Put your progress, and you're done. And it's just like everything else with WebKids. You can hit save, and if you're more comfortable hitting save every time, you can. But anytime you change screens, it will automatically save it for you. However, you type everything here, you forget, and you get up and you walk off, and you come back 30 minutes later, and it times you out, you lose it all.
And if you don't put a date in there, did you say that already?
No, I haven't back there.
Yeah.
If you don't put a date, it kind of looks like it's lost somewhere, and it'll still stay here, but when we go and look through it, it'll look like you didn't do it for that date. Does that make sense? It'll put like a 00 on there. So, okay, so then you go to the next student and do your goal again.
And see, you can't do anything if you're on a draft IEP, you have to do it on the previous record, right?
Well, and you shouldn't be completing progress reports most of the time on a draft. We can now. We marked it that you can for a draft.
You could last year.
Last year we started that. But if you have a new record, a lot of the times if you haven't had that meeting, you should be doing your progress reports on the second record down. But because it would be before the date of that meeting, so it wouldn't make sense for it to be on that record.
The problem's going to come, say you had a meeting, we'll say February 1st, okay? And you forgot to turn in the paperwork, and it's come March 14th, and you have to do progress reports. It's still going to show a draft, and it's done somewhere in some pile somewhere. Then we'll get providers calling us saying, well, it's a draft, and I can't do progress reports. Well, while they can, everyone's been told up until last year that you can't do a progress report on a draft IEP. So if you get those calls, that's what it is, and that might, oh man, I did it somewhere. Okay, we'll have to find it then at that point. Okay, so you do all your progress reports. So at this time, say it's for an annual, and you're on the screen.
That's better. Okay.
Can I clarify?
Yes.
So during the progress report, you would drop down to the second one up there under IEP records?
No.
No.
Only if there's some weird situation where you have a draft.
Okay, say you have an annual. Okay, you have an annual meeting October 1st. We've created a record so we can go in and start writing the IEP. But you have to do the progress report on the previous IEP to show where they've met on where they're at on those goals on the previous IEP. So you would go to the second record down and put those progress reports to give you data to support whatever recommendations you are making on a current IEP.
What about a re-eval?
Same thing, probably.
If you have a new record in there for an upcoming meeting that hasn't happened yet, you're going to do the progress reports on the second record down on the previous record.
If it's just your quarterly progress, more than likely it's going to be on a current record. Perfect, right?
If you have problems figuring out those, I know that some of you haven't used WebKids, but when we're talking records, we're talking that box right there. And when we say second record down, you just click down to the second record. And that means last year's IEP or the IEP amendment before the one that you
progress report for one kid, you can hit display progress report right there. Okay. You do have to hit save first. And then print all goals. Yep. And then hit print. And then it comes up with this little handy dandy little sheet, and that's what it looks like. Well, you don't have to.
I thought it was substitution.
That's not what it looks like?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I said arrow down so we can see what
Oh.
it looks like.
Okay, so that's what it'll kind of look like. Okay? So now say you have a caseload of 25. Now here's the other thing. If you're a related service provider and you are not a primary provider, you don't typically have to print progress reports. You just have to fill them out. There might be some exceptions. I'm not going to get into all those because they're kind of weird sometimes. But for the most part, it's the primary providers. So IRIS teachers, SVA teachers, structural learning teachers, PBS teachers, and potentially speech language paths if they're the primary provider. Okay? So I'm going to show you a different way to print them off so you can do everyone at one time. You go down to print, nope, sorry. Okay, you go down, there's a print, where it says print ID, there's a print progress reports down there. There we go. And then scroll down. You'll hit select all students. Wait, hold on first of all. Before you do that, okay, hit select all students. Let's go on the next screen. Maybe not.
Yeah, you have to go press print on every person on the screen to take it one.
And then it would go to the next one.
No. Hit
Go back.
no.
Go back.
No.
It was down there lower.
It was down lower. Okay. Hit kids again. So you do that. You can do it this way, and you'll have to print each individual one.
These are all the kids.
You just didn't go down far enough for this. Okay, so get out and print progress report again. Okay, go all the way down. There we go.
Here it is.
That, I need a yes down there. Wherever the there's a yes.
Stream all
So you want to
progress
stream
reports.
them all, then hit select all students. And what it will do, you hit print one time, it'll print all of them with a page break in between each student. So you don't have to do it once. That's new last year. So it looks like it's all one document, but it will page break in between each student.
And then you'll have to remember to make an extra copy if there's more than one leader or parent. Make an extra copy for that.
Okay. Any questions?
This
Yes,
is a
ma'am.
much improvement.
Do we need to keep a hard copy of this?
Well, that's a great question. Everything is electronic, so we will. A copy is typically filed, aren't they? Or no, not in this.
Progress reports is one of the things that in the middle of the year, something could happen. If one gets out of switch or something, we could lose. I would keep them at least for the whole school year for a while because we don't file them until the end of the year.
Any other questions? You guys all ready to do them now? If you have questions, call one of us. We'll come out and help. Pretty easy. Okay? I can't collect the data for you, but I can tell you how to do this. Right? Okay, that's all we got. Unless you have other questions.